What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ Bucky with you. Buck, what's going on, man?
Man, not too much, DJ. Like, I'm really getting excited. The college football weekend is going to be it's going to be outstanding to see the college football playoffs, see what we're about to undertake, expanding to the 12-team playoffs. So I'm excited about all the stuff that we have on the horizon.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've got a Thursday night Charger game at home, so will not be traveling. I'm not going to miss any games. Fired up about that to watch these college games. Before we get into the games, we'll pick some winners on that, who you like in these contests. But before we do that, I did want to hit you on this. I made this comment to somebody I was talking to the other day in the league, and I said, I think this will be, now whether or not we can live up to it, but I think this will be one of the easier in comparison to other years, evaluation years that we've had. Yeah. Because of the combination of realignment and the college football playoff. We have more good on good tape to watch this year than ever before, Buck. And I can't wait. I think you're looking at where stocks are for certain players. There's going to be guys that are going to move up significantly based on all the eyeballs that are going to be on them, knowing they're going to have potentially 3 games against elite competition on a huge stage. Man, you can really help yourself at this point in time.
You can help yourself because, DJ, I'll be the first to admit, as an evaluator, to me, all games aren't weighted the same. I put a tremendous amount of weight on how people perform in rivalry games and conference championship games and now in the college football playoff. These games will have the intensity and the players that are most like NFL games. If you shine in these moments, I'm going to give you a little boost, a little bump. It doesn't mean that I'm going to ding you, but, man, what you want as an evaluator to see good on good. And this is an opportunity for us to see a bunch of really good prospects playing against other good prospects to give us maybe a better projection on how they can perform at the next level.
Yeah, so those teams playing in the first round without a bye, that would be 4 games. So you're looking at potentially 4 quality opponent games with a huge stage.
That's a scouting report. Like, if we go back to our days, what we would do is we look at 4 games.
That's the requirement, yeah.
Yeah, we get 4 games on it. So now if I can pull 4 games from the playoff, I just feel better about what I'm going to project out in terms of what your value is at the next level. To me, look, man, it's a dream to be able to see these games and see these guys shine in these moments.
Yeah, like I saw Drew Aller, quarterback at Penn State, came out and he didn't directly say he was coming back, but the way that it was phrased in his statement sounded like I'll be,
he's back.
Forward with future memories. But I'm looking at that going, okay, we pull up this bracket and Penn State is going to come out the chute here. They have got
SMU.
Yeah, so they've got SMU. So he could have SMU, then Boise, then potentially Georgia, a team like Georgia, whoever comes out of there, but let's say Georgia. And then, out of the top bracket, you're looking at Oregon. Like, if he goes on, like, say Penn State won those 4 games and won the national championship.
He goes on a heater.
You really going to go back to school? I don't know that's going to happen, but I'm just saying, like, that's a chance to change some things here.
It is a chance to change some things. And, man, like, being able, it's not only that, DJ, like, some people don't believe in momentum, but I will say the lasting impression, these final games, these final moments.
It's a closing argument, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're able to kind of slam the book on things. I'll say this, and I feel like it really impacted the way that I view Justin Herbert. Seeing Justin Herbert in the Pac-12 championship game and then seeing him in the Rose Bowl changed the way that I viewed him because he did some things in those moments that you're like, oh, okay, Mario Cristobal was holding it back, and Mario Cristobal came on our show and said that. Didn't have a backup quarterback, so I couldn't run him like we ran him. But now we're in the tournament. Now we're playing for all the marbles. You let them go. It changes that stuff. And so some of these guys, we're going to see them like kind of take the shackles off and go play and not worry about all this other stuff. And it's going to give us an opportunity to really make a really good assessment on what they are right now, but what they could be at the next level.
Yep, 100%, man. Well, let's just rip through these first round games here and tell me who you like. Let's go first of all, Clemson at Texas. I know you hate Clemson. You're a Carolina guy, so you're not even giving them a chance.
I don't hate Clemson. I might have made some mistakes, some fatal flaws by bringing them down the hill. But this is what I'll say. Clemson's playoff experience, all this stuff is wonderful, but Texas is a different animal. Texas is the more talented team, and it's crazy for me to say that given how good Clemson has been for the last decade, but Texas has more dogs. And so because of that, I think in the postseason, the talent matters, and the talent goes to Texas. That's why they play well. I will say this: Quinn Ewers is going to have to play better, though.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's the one thing that I'm worried about a little bit.
Yeah, they can't play around him or whatever. Someone that we were hailing and celebrating as a first-round pick. Look, they can't win in spite of. They need to win because of, and he has to get the ball to the playmakers. He has to play better.
If you're Quinn Ewers, would you? And let's say you're Quinn Ewers, and they tell you you're going to be a third-round pick, fourth-round pick, like third, fourth, and Texas is, hey, we love you. You've done a great job here, but my man Arch is going to play next year, so we're good.
What I would
would you go out? Or would you go? I think he would make a killing in the transfer portal.
Oh, I think he'd make a killing. I think we have a home for him. I think he could find his way to the greatest coach of all time in Belichick and Chapel Hill. And
there you go.
Maybe try and finish the project.
Loosen it up a little bit.
Like loosen up the hose. No, here's the thing, and I'll say this, DJ, the fascinating part of this game is how quickly will Shark use the hook. If Quinn Ewers looks like he looked the last time we saw him,
he's going to get to it. He's going to get to it.
Are they going to put Arch? You can put Arch Manning in the game. I mean, like, because you can just see. Look, man, it looks sometimes like Sark had a little bad meat. The way that face, it wasn't settling right in his stomach. I cannot imagine him going through that again because there were plays that he dialed up that Quinn Ewers was missing. It very much he could get to it in this game. Yeah. Arch Manning, I think he's probably telling them, "Hey, man, be ready."
Yeah,
if it doesn't look right, you going in.
That's fascinating. I'm with you though. I think Texas wins this game. I just think they got more dudes, man. Their defensive tackles are outstanding. We'll be talking a lot about them as we get towards the draft. So I'll lean in that direction as well. We're both going to go Texas. Let's keep it moving here. We've got Tennessee at Ohio State. I'll tell you what, this might be my favorite one. We'll get to Indiana, Notre Dame in a minute, but I think Tennessee, Ohio State, I think there might be more on the line in terms of the future of Ohio State's program than people imagine here. This is a huge game.
Huge game. I'm worried about the Michigan hangover for the Buckeyes. I'm worried about Ryan Day having to deal with all that. Can he get the team up? There was so much that they poured into that Michigan game, and I know it's been weeks since that. I'm worried about that. And the other thing I'm worried about, Tennessee's offense is unique. It's creative, and I've seen them bust the clock on many a team. And if they get this thing going, and they have something to prove because – look, it didn't go the way they wanted it to go. This is a chance for them to make amends. The more motivated team to me is Tennessee. And typically in the postseason, the games are won by the team that is more motivated. I think Tennessee's more motivated, so I'm going to go with the Volunteers.
Yeah, I think Ohio State's more talented. But what's the most important position in sports? Advantage Tennessee. Advantage Tennessee. So I'm with you. Maybe we're both smoking something here, but I like the Volunteers as well on that one. That's going to be a fun one. SMU, Penn State. I feel like nobody's giving SMU a chance. I think this game is going to be a lot closer, a lot more competitive than people think.
Real competitive. SMU has speed on the perimeter.
They can score.
It took them a while to find their footing against Clemson, but Clemson couldn't stop them in the second half. That's it. Penn State's the better team. I'm just going to go with Penn State. And I know that everyone is this is a game where everyone's kind of pointing to SMU as the upset. To me, I think the pedigree. Penn State is better. I like the ACC. I'm an ACC guy, but I don't know how good that conference was. Give me Penn State.
Well, you're going to have to block them, which is not going to be easy with Abdul Carter screaming off the edge. And then you're going to have to tackle the tight ends and backs. And Penn State is stacked. And Tyler Warren is an absolute monster with the ball in his hand. So that's why I think matchup-wise, I don't love that for SMU. Keep it rolling here. We've got one more here, just one more game. Indiana, Notre Dame, Buck. The Fighting Reds. The Fighting Reds.
The Fighting Reds. And everyone is going to say, and Signetti's going to put all this in, if Notre Dame had not lost to Northern Illinois, it would be the upset special. Because of that loss to Northern Illinois, I saw how they mollywopped Army when they didn't want to go. I think Indiana gets the best performance that we've seen from Notre Dame to date. I'm going with the Fighting Irish in this one.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're just a little bit too much there. I do like, if we're going to say quarterback wise, I don't know if the trust meter might not lean towards Indiana on that one. Yeah. But to me, this feels like Riley Leonard, I'd be like, hey man, you go into your locker And you know, as quarterbacks in practice, we always have like the red jersey or the different colored jersey and everything. In his locker this week, hey man, you just got an offensive jersey hanging up in there. Now we're not going to touch you in practice, but this is to signify to you like there's no like protecting yourself. You're one of 11 now, bud. Like put that ball. You can wear 2 gloves in this game. We don't need you to chuck it much. We're going to put that thing under your arm and we're going to let you run a little bit. That's what they're going to do with him.
Yeah, you know, so here's the thing. Typically when Notre Dame gets into these games, they want to make it a physical affair.
Yeah.
I don't worry about Indiana like stepping up to the challenge, but we've seen Notre Dame's calling card is when they can kind of beat you up a little bit, kind of impose their will. They've always kind of built the team through the trenches, the offensive line, and that stuff. This game at some point is going to slow down, and it's going to be a battle of wills. That's where Notre Dame takes over. I think it's close early. Notre Dame pulls away in the fourth quarter just because the physicality kind of wears them down.
Yeah, I'm with you. Do we end up picking the same teams here all the way through?
I think we're all the way through. That's not good.
No,
don't follow us then. If we're agreeable.
But it feels like that. Know. I mean, so we both Tennessee was a road team, so we took one road team to win, and then the other 3 home teams. So I'm looking forward to seeing the environments, man. Playoff games, home games, cold weather. That's going to be fun, man. Looking forward to it. Let's take a quick break. We come back. We'll hit a little hot or not, and then we'll wrap this one up. All right, Buck, it's time for Hot or Not, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. We're going to look at some quarterbacks that are hot right now. Jared Goff, it didn't result in a win. What a weird, bizarre stat, by the way, with him having 5 touchdowns in a loss and 5 picks in a win. Bizarre. But they coming off of a loss to the Buffalo Bills in a shootout 48-42. Lamar Jackson kind of ho-hum quietly going about his business, 5 touchdowns to go along with 65 rushing yards. They just smoked the Giants this week. Baker, I saw that up close and personal. Big time impressive performance, 4 touchdowns. Ran the ball well. Bo Nix, after a rough start with some turnovers, comes back with 3 touchdowns to go along with some rushing yards as well. And finally, Aaron Rodgers. We haven't talked much about the Jets lately, but he looked like old school Aaron Rodgers in that ball game.
He was unbelievable to watch it from field level. Like his arm talent is amazing. Him and Devontae Adams and even Garrett Wilson. I would say this: they didn't target Garrett Wilson enough, but his arm talent is. Look, man, it remains the same. You can't run it back because it was such a disaster in New York, but he had a vintage turn back the clock moment that you certainly can appreciate.
It's funny. I was watching that video and I wanted to see all the explosives and obviously Devontae had darn near 200-yard game. And so I'm watching it, and every ball that went to Devontae, Garrett Wilson was wide open. I mean, Jags didn't cover him the whole day. They couldn't cover him.
You can't cover him, man. It's one of the things, man. DJ, I just wish that they could do kind of like an autopsy on the Jets season, and if they could run it all the way back, if they could figure out a way to better utilize the weapons that they have. Yeah. I still don't think they scratched the surface on what they could have been offensively. When you really look at them on paper, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, and I know we could talk about the offensive line, but from an offensive standpoint, this should have been a team that should have been well over 28, 30 points a game with the talent they had. The biggest mystery would be like, why weren't they able to pull that off? This should have been a much better team than a 4-10 team or whatever their record is right now.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I'm looking at this list of quarterbacks we're talking about here. Goff, first overall pick. Lamar, first round. Baker, first overall pick. Bo Nix, first round. Aaron Rodgers, first round. Like, it'll be interesting to see as we get to the tournament. Man, it's getting harder and harder to find impact guys outside of that round. You know, Brock Purdy was kind of like the savior there, but they're not going to the tournament.
You brought me to a question that I wanted to bring up. It was one of the things that I was saving in my pocket. Okay, so pedigree matters. And no matter what people say, like we've seen how pedigree is playing out. We've seen Baker Mayfield, a former number 1 overall pick, bounce around to Carolina, then LA, but Tampa, you now are reminded why he was a first-round pick. We've seen Sam Darnold bounce around, go to Minnesota. We're now reminded why he's a first-round pick. In an offseason where the San Francisco 49ers are going to have to make a decision at quarterback with Brock Purdy, I just wonder if there's going to be a conversation between Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch based on what they saw for a year in practice and what they've seen from afar in Minnesota. Did they let the wrong quarterback out the building? When they let Sam Darnold go, is this a situation where they're like, who's the more talented guy? Who has the higher ceiling? And are we willing to move on for one if we feel like we can have a higher ceiling from another because they're in the middle of doing a rebuild.
I think the difference too is, I think this is fair to say. If you gave me like the loaded, talented roster, everybody's healthy, you could say Brock Purdy could fit the system better and operate it at a very high level. But the problem is now when we pay Purdy, now some of that supporting cast dwindles. So then I might rather have Sam with a little lesser supporting cast. But then the other side of that, I mean, you can do it everybody and say, well, Sam, this is the 1 year that Sam's done this, and the supporting cast in Minnesota is off the charts.
Yes.
So now we pay him all that money because he's not making a ton of money in Minnesota right now. Now we pay him what he's going to command in the offseason. Even, San Francisco's had some dudes, but they don't have the dudes that Minnesota has.
No.
So you could talk your way in and out of both of those guys in that decision.
So that's part one of the question. But before you even get to that part, because that's assuming that Minnesota lets him out, would Minnesota be crazy to let him walk out the building given what they're doing? DJ, they're 12-2.
I know.
12-2, and there's a path for them to get the number one overall seed. I know what we talk about, J.J. McCarthy and the draft pick or whatever, but the cost of doing business is the cost of doing business. I don't know if you can move off of Sam Darnold given the way that he's playing. I just don't know if you can do it. And I like J.J. McCarthy, but J.J. McCarthy is an unproven player in this league. And I don't want to burn up first-round picks. But the job of the general manager and the team builder is to get the position right. Right now, it looks like the position is right.
So a Sam in the hand is better than a JJ in the bush, is what you're getting at. Like, I know what I got. That's what it is. I know exactly what Sam is, and I know how he works in this. Now, I think and hope on JJ, but I don't know. That's the age-old adage, man.
We know exactly what it is, and so it's tough. It's tough right now. But, man, if you're Sam Darnold, but also if I'm Sam Darnold, we talked about this scenario man, I've bounced around. I've seen what it looks like when it's not great for me.
I told you I would take less money. I already went on the record saying that. I'd stay in Minnesota for a little less.
I know the money is the money. I know it'd be hard to convince an agent, but man, if I'm the player who has had to endure the bad part of it in New York, in Carolina, man, I'm in a situation that is great. I got young talent around me. I got a great play caller. We look like we're going to be good for a long time. It would be hard for me to willingly leave this situation. I mean, it's just hard, man. Sam is in the catbird seat.
Yeah, that's tough. I'd be like, hey, man, we got a lot of Fortune 500 companies here in Minnesota.
Target, you can be the guy.
Hey, we get you a couple commercials, man. We're not gonna get you that high end. We're not gonna go high end on the market, but we got some company tie-ins here. We'll get you a couple commercials, try and close that gap a little bit. I want to say Sleep Number might be there. I think Kirk Cousins used to be doing some Sleep Number commercials back in the day. So I don't know. Maybe there's a way corporately we can kind of close that gap a little bit, take a little less. Stay in Minnesota where you got all this support set up for you. But then where does that leave JJ McCarthy? I don't know, man. That's going to be a fascinating storyline in the offseason, what Minnesota does. It
is fascinating, but I don't know if we can worry about that. Like, I mean, the job is to fill the position, and they double dipped it. They backstopped it. They were able to get one in free agency. They took the draft, and now they found a way to find a solution. I don't know, man. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It is. They have a good thing going. I don't know.
Pretty interesting to see the juxtaposition with that in Atlanta, right? Atlanta, they had the same plan. We have kind of a bridge quarterback, a veteran quarterback, and then one bridge quarterback. The bridge is a little faulty. It's a little creaky. The other bridge is firm footing. That thing's not swaying.
Solid. Yeah, we can take our time. And so, if anything, what it does for the J.J. McCarthy thing, man, take your time. Let's get him fully healthy. Let's develop him. Like, there's no rush to put him on the field. Why not?
Yep, no question. All right, that was this week's Hot or Not segment, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. Store more and do more with your data. Try them for free at wasabi.com. All right, Buck, this was a fun one, man. Looking forward to some football coming up this weekend. We've got some more episodes coming your way, so be on the lookout for those. We appreciate you guys. Hope you're getting all your shopping done. Go out there and take care of your friends and family. We'll see you next time right here on With the Sticks.